I'm a 38-year-old mother of 3, 14, 12, and 9. And if there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that family bonds mean nothing when only one side is doing the work. My father, Richard 62M, was never a great dad, but lately, he's been determined to play the role of a loving grandfather at least when there's an audience. Growing up, my relationship with Richard was distant at best. He wasn't outright cruel, but he was the kind of father who made it clear that his comfort mattered more than anything else. He worked long hours, but even when he was home, he was emotionally checked out. If I needed help with homework, he was too tired. If I wanted to talk about my day, he'd nod absently while watching TV. My mother held our home together, making up for what he lacked. Then, when I was 16, she passed away. Richard barely waited before moving on. Within a year, he had remarried a woman named Diane 58F, who had 2 kids from a previous marriage. And just like that, my family was no longer mine. Diane was loud, opinionated, and obsessed with image. She treated me more like an inconvenience than a stepdaughter, and Richard didn't just let it happen, he encouraged it. Diane's children became his priority, and I was pushed to the background. I moved out as soon as I turned 18. No fights, no dramatic last words, I was just done. I went low contact, got a job, built my life, and eventually met my husband, Mark 40M. We built something solid together, had our 3 kids, and honestly, I didn't think much about Richard. He made his choices, and I had my own family now. Then, a few years ago, he started trying to reconnect. At first, I thought it was guilt finally catching up to him, but I quickly realized it was about appearances. His friends were becoming grandparents, posting about family trips and bonding moments, and suddenly, Richard wanted in on that image, but not in the way that actually mattered. He didn't want to know their interests, help them with school, or be a presence in their lives. He wanted them for the photo ops. He'd make big promises about taking them places, then cancel last minute. He forgot birthdays. If he did show up, it was all surface-level interaction, nothing genuine. My kids noticed, but Richard expected respect and admiration from them, just for existing. The final straw came when he invited them for a weekend getaway. My kids already had commitments, a school play, a soccer game, but when I told him, he exploded. He called me selfish for not making them available to him. Then came the real accusation. He said I was turning them against him. He claimed I was making them cold, ungrateful. Diane and her children, who barely even knew my kids, jumped in, calling me dramatic and accusing me of playing the victim. That's when I realized I was done. If Richard wanted to know why the kids didn't prioritize him, he could hear it straight from them. It just so happened that Diane was planning her annual family appreciation dinners, a tradition she loved, where she got to play the perfect hostess and celebrate family bonds. We were rarely invited, but this year I caught wind of the dinner from a cousin and decided to ask Diane directly if we could attend. She hesitated but, likely not wanting to appear rude in front of others, extended the invitation. Richard was thrilled. He wanted to show off his grandkids to his friends. He had no idea what was coming. Before the dinner, I sat my kids down. I told them there was no pressure, but if their grandfather asked why they weren't close, they could tell him the truth. No need to be mean, no need to argue, just be honest. They agreed. I wasn't going to make my father look bad. He was going to do that all by himself. Walking into Diane's house,